What's up, horse racing fans? Welcome to the weekend episode of the Inside Post. This weekend, we are bringing you Monmouth Park for 4 stakes races that highlight their weekend Saturday card, giving you a couple horses to take into consideration. However, past performances have not been released, so the morning line odds have not been set on these stakes races. So we really don't have a price to go off of or an odd to go off of, but we'll be still giving you kind of a quick cap of these 4 stakes races. Again, Monmouth Park, Saturday, June 15th. All right, we're kicking things off on this Saturday for the Pegasus. This is a listed stakes race, and here we see a couple of horses coming into this race out of Kentucky Derby hopes, or being domestic product, being the only one coming out of a Kentucky Derby. A really good field of about 8. Hopefully we don't get any scratches leading up to the race. So looking off to the inside, number 3 right now is Otello. This is the Christophe Clement trained horse that got a lot of attention early on, winning the Mucho Macho Man. I believe it broke its maiden at Aqueduct, going a mile first try, and then goes right into that Mucho Macho Man and does fairly well. Then kind of falters in the Holy Bull and the Jeff Ruby Stakes and just has nothing whatsoever. So hopefully, getting back off some rest should be interesting. It's probably going to be one of those mid-price horses just because it's been on the Kentucky Derby Trail. It does have some falling off speed figures that kind of take away from some of the other competition of Hades or even domestic product in here. 89, 91, I think, was a career best speed figure on that horse. And then last time out was just this awful 72. So we'll see if we get a bounce back in here. Hopefully it comes in off of a pretty good rest. And it's obviously Christophe wouldn't put it in here if it wasn't training in the right direction. Next, we have Hades just to the outside, the number 5 horse, possibly in here for Joseph Orseno and Paco Lopez aboard. I'm kind of disappointed that this horse did not make the Kentucky Derby gate. Was hoping we would see it. I really liked the win, kind of shooting up through the rail in the Holy Bull. And then just kind of faltered in the Florida Derby. Obviously, that was fierceness, a game there. And then in the Lexington, again, nothing, as you saw, about a 7th place finish. But again, one that looked really good out of that Holy Bull and then just ran into, again, fierceness when he was on his 8 game. Speed figured career best, I think, was like a 97 in that Holy Bull. Comes back 82, 73, downhill on the speed, hoping for a little bit of progression rather than the regression that we've seen out of Hades. So hopefully we can get back to those 80, 90 speed figures in here. Obviously, this is a little bit of class relief outside of domestic product that Hades has been running in, but just a really cool horse, and hopefully we see this horse kind of progress through the summer and kind of set up for a really good into the 3-year-old and into hopefully his 4-year-old season as well. And probably the favorite in here, possibly maybe Tuscan Sky, but domestic product should get the favorite spot in here. Flavion Pratt, Chad Brown, 13th in the Kentucky Derby, comes out of there a big long shot after winning the Tampa Bay Derby with an 88 speed figure. I think it got a 76 in the Kentucky Derby. So again, one that's going the other way, but has posted 93s and 94s as a career best. So hopefully one that can kind of fire back on a big race, coming off a pretty good layoff. Son out of Practical Joke, it has all the means necessary to be a good horse. It's just trying to find that fitting of where this horse could pick up a big win, setting it up for, again, having a stellar summer. Next up, we have the Eatontown. This is a grade 3 stakes race in here. several horses. Again, looking at 10 of these fillies and mares that are 3-year-olds and up. So another great race on the card for Saturday at Monmouth. We'll see what comes about this one, but this one should be a fairly good wide open field in here with a really good set of runners. We're going to go to the inside in here, and Sacred Wish as the first horse that we're going to talk about. George Weaver, Kendrick Carmouche, comes off an allowance win at Aqueduct back May 17th. Interesting in there for sure. Going to go ahead and point this horse into some type of graded stakes, and here we are going into Grade 3 Eatontown. Out of Not This Time, an Indian Wish by Indian Charlie. So the sire line pedigree is amazing. 2 passed outs, 100 and a 105 speed figure. I believe the 100 came at Keeneland, finishing 3rd in there in an allowance, and then was able to pick up that optional allowance claiming at Belmont. Times back before, the horses raced, in some pretty good races. The Gulfstream Park Rogues, the Black Eyed Susan, the Coaching Club, the Alabama. Biggest win probably coming in a Winter Memorial Stakes at Belmont at Aqueduct. 2 seconds. The Coaching Club American Oaks was a big second for this horse. So we'll see. Definitely has some heavy speed figures that could definitely point this horse to the winner's circle for sure. Kind of like the pedigree on this of Not This Time, Indian Charlie mixed in with that, kind of gets a win under her belt, so she kind of has that confidence boost, and the connections have that confidence boost to put her in here. Next, we're going with the 6 Spirit and Glory for Rob Falcone and Joe Bravo. Probably coming off of a pretty good race, 3rd in that Begay, a Grade 3 stakes race in there. For the connections, Kotai Glory is the pedigree on this one. So it looks pretty sharp. Picked up another win going a mile. The Plenty of Grace at Aqueduct, just a regular stakes race in there. Won in that race, a 104 speed figure. Comes back in the Begay, finishes 3rd, but also fired another 104 speed figure. So the speed of the field is probably going to be Spirit and Glory. The speed figures have been consistent and have kind of been off the charts compared to some of these other horses. However, she's kind of on a dip up and down on her speed figures and kind of what she's been able to do. But right now, those 104s have just been amazing that she's been able to fire back and forth past 2 times out. Comes out of the Al Stall Stakes, winner there, the Miss Liberty Stakes, and the Virginia Oaks back in 2022. So a couple of big wins under her belt. Looking to pick up, I believe this would be her first Grade 3 stakes win if she was able to pull off one in here for her connections. Next, we're going with the 8 Ocean Club. For Jack Sisterson, Feargal Lynch will get the mount on here. This one comes out of the Monroe Stakes, winner of there out of Curlin. Done it with a 97 speed figure. The time before that comes out of an allowance optional 95 speed figure in there. The speeds are getting better. However, they're nothing to the par of Spirit and Glory. Second time on the grade 3 stakes race, so we'll see. Comes out of the Torrey Pine, finished off the board in there. Probably the biggest win for Ocean Club has been the Martha Washington 90 speed figure in there. Like that the speeds are getting better and that they're kind of staying consistent. We don't have any regressions right now on Ocean Club, so the horse looks really good coming in here. I think the distance will suit the horse fairly well, and obviously coming off of those 2 wins, it's in a great form for this. And next we have 5 going back to the inside. Damaso out of Outwork for Kathleen O'Connell. Right now jockey's kind of unknown. Picked up an allowance win at Monmouth, going a mile and a 16th. Has been at Tampa, a mile and a 16th and win. 2 wins in the last 2 starts. 96 and a 100 speed figure, 100 being the most recent. The horse looked really flashy in that win at Monmouth on a firm turf course. We'll see if this one is able to step into some stakes company and run big. Definitely up against it for sure. But this should be a pretty good price play and a horse that has some speed that can challenge in here as well. And another one to consider, obviously, Chad Brown throwing another one for Klarovich. Tax implications, picked up an allowance, second place in there. So we'll see. Kind of going with a little bit of heavier prices probably in here and leaving out tax exemption or tax implications. Next, we have the Monmouth Stakes. This is another grade 3 stakes race as well. Mile and an eighth for 3-year-olds and up on the grass yet again. So these two grass races are going to be fairly good and really good betting races for sure. First off, we're going with number 9 outside, Running Bee out of English Channel, Chad Brown, Vincent Cheminade. Comes out of the dinner party, finishing third, a grade 3 stakes race in there. Speed figures, career best 107, and then kind of backed it up with a 106, 105. However, in the dinner party was a other direction going to 99. Comes out of the Tampa Bay Stakes 2 times before finishing second, the Fort Lauderdale, and again, kind of going back into grade 3 stakes. In the dinner party, Bolkaninoff was the horse that was beat out in there. Crabs and Beer finished second, and then Running Bee came in third. I think this would be a good play. The horse has been first, second, third. I believe it's like 7 out of 8 of its last races. However, they are been stakes races. I think 1, 2 were just allowance races. So for the horse to hit the board, hopefully we get a pretty good price on Running Bee in here to set up a pretty good trifecta. Next, we're going with the 5-year-old. Back towards the inside, number 4 out of Medaglia d'Oro. This is Grand Sonata for Whisper Hill Farms, Todd Pletcher, Javier Castellano. 102, 108 speed figures in her last 2. Comes off of a 1 mile Belmont at Aqueduct Turf race allowance in there. Again, finishing second, so that was a pretty good step forward to get it back into graded stakes racing. Comes out of the River City at Churchill in the Fort Lauderdale. 4th both times in those, so really didn't have anything much in there. She's ran against Warlike Goddess, Smoking Tea, main event. So this could be a little bit of class relief for Grand Sonata coming in here. We will see. Have to go way back to the Kitten's Joy, and the Dania Beach was probably her biggest wins of her career back in 2022. Bouncing around in some lower stakes races, picked up a win on an allowance, and here she is back to a graded stakes race. And next, back to the inside, number 2, Beatbox, the 6-year-old. In here, out of Pioneer of the Nile, Sherry DeVoe, Sammy Camacho. This horse ran 8th in the dinner party. Had an average of like 108 in its last 5 to 6 speed figures in its last 6 races, and then just does not fire whatsoever. I don't know if it was a distance, the soft turf just did not play into Beatbox hands that day for the Preakness. So we'll see if kind of another go at it. I think they're going a mile 18 in here, or mile and 1/8. So we'll see if that's not an issue, if it was just a soft ground. Time before that in the Munoz Memorial, finished 4th. Fairground Stakes was the last win, 109 speed figure in there. So the 100 speed figures have been off the charts for Beatbox. So obviously, this horse has some speed on the turf, which is always a good thing to have. So we'll see if this is just a little bit easier class coming in here, but definitely a really good field of horses for the grass. Public Sector, Siege Boston, all of those fabulous horses. Chad Brown has yet another one in Anhamo, Tawny Port. I mean, this is a really good stakes race for a horse to set itself up for the summer. And lastly, we have the Salvator Mile Grade 3 stakes race in here, $400,000. We're setting horses up for the Monmouth Cup. Winner receives free entry to the Monmouth Cup on the Haskell undercard. So let's see what we got for these 3-year-olds and up. Right out of the gate, Sherril's Spite, yes, the 7-year-old out of Spitestown. For Raj Affield, Paco Lopez, 4th in the Maker's Mark. Looks to kind of pick up another pretty good win. I believe 108 speed figure is what the horse got coming out of that. I mean, that's not bad for a 4th place finish behind Masters of the Sea, Naval Power, 2 really great European horses. And for the horse to finish 4th behind those on a yielding turf course of all things is amazing. Go back, Pegasus World Cup, runs into Warm Heart, I'm Very Busy. Again, finished 8th, but I mean, it was in some heavy class of really good horses that are doing great things now. Breeders' Cup Mile, Woodbine Mile, again, Masters of the Sea was kind of the better horse that day, obviously, and was able to just put the field away. Again, Shrill Spite should get a little bit of class relief in here for sure, especially for the 7-year-old. So we'll see. Probably going to be a little of a price-ish in here, probably nothing crazy, but definitely one that could definitely bounce back or pick up a pretty good lower graded win. Next we have Artorias, Chad Brown, Flavion Pratt. This is an Arrowgate horse. In here, I think it's a 5-year-old. Yes, 5-year-old, Juman owned. Just an allowance win last time out, but that was a pretty good win. 99 speed figures. The speed figures have been getting better. 101 back in allowance on dirt. So we'll see in here what this horse is able to do. Just kind of liked it off of that win in its last allowance race. Has ran in the Salvator Mile before, I believe last year, finished 4th in there to Petulant, who won this race last year. So we'll see Artorias coming back in, firing again to see if he can pick up the Salvator Mile win. And lastly, we have Bright Future number 2, Todd Pletcher, Javier Castellano, 5-year-old Curlin sire in here, or Curlin pedigree. Comes off a pretty good 103 speed figure in the Breeders' Cup Classic, beat out by Water Barrio, Dermasotogaki. So we'll see if this horse can get back to it. Kind of like the spot that it's in here. However, does come off a pretty good layoff, so we'll see if the horse is able to kind of pick that up after, 7-month layoff pretty much. But definitely has some speed to fit in here. The horse's big win, Jockey Gold Club, grade 1. So it's a grade 1 winner for Bright Future. And has been running against, obviously, some really good class of horses, White Barrio, Dermasotogaki, and that as well. So there's also Sherlock's Jewel, an interesting horse in here for Claude McGahee, Vincent Chaminade. Second in the Challenger, Mo Vister, obviously out of Uncle Mo, winner at Parks last time out. So there's our kind of quick run through of these Monmouth Stakes races. I believe they're races 9, 10, 11, and 12 for Saturday, June 15th at Monmouth Park. Make sure you go follow our social medias. We'll post kind of our full betting guide for that as well. We'll try to post a link down below into the comments. Make sure to hit that subscribe button, and we hope you win big.